This video will provide a quick overview of the Stripe Connect Auto Provision plugin. Now, we start at a page that has the name of registration in it. This is a hard-coded page name, but we could certainly configure it and make it a configurable setting. There's no short code to embed here. Now we can customize here as well. We say your name registration, so whatever the name of the test store is or test company. And then also we could customize this text here as well. It's currently hard coded, but we could switch both of these things as over to configurable settings. Now I have this in test mode, so it's pre-populated all of my information here. In live mode, when Stripe is switched from test over to live, then all of this would be blank. I do have to select a state here, but essentially what we do, at least here in the States, is we're required to provide company name and address. This is all for Stripe's registration purposes. Address, if there is a second mailing address, then we would do that here, like a suite number. Let's say suite 210. Our tax ID, which is assigned by the US government here, and then the name of the primary registrant or the principal of the business. So in that case, I'm putting my name here as a CEO, my phone number, email. Stripe also requires date of birth and last four digits, at least in the US, of social security number. So again, this is something we would probably have to customize based on your country. We could change the label of this text and then change any validation that's here. We'll have to find out what's required in your country, but we could certainly make that a configurable option. Now, I'm assuming you have driver's licenses. Now, Stripe requires some type of official ID, and we found that it was the most efficient here in the States for that to be a front and back copy of a driver's license. We enforce validation, so we only accept JPEG and PNG. And then for the client for which we developed it, the companies that they'd be acting as a platform were all nonprofits. So here in the States, they're issued a 501c3 certificate. We could change that to a corporation certificate or whatever is required by the government in your country. We limit that to PDF only and allow them to upload it. Now, I'm going to add some just generic information here because I won't be able to submit the form until I select the options here. So I'm just going to upload some test files. We'll make that my test ID back and test ID front. And then we're going to choose a certificate, just a sample PDF. We'll use this. We'll go to the next screen. Now, Stripe also wants to know, is there somebody else who owns at least 25% of the business? If they answer yes here, then they're just required to fill out some additional information. If they answer no, they skip it. For the purposes of this exercise and demo, we'll just select yes. Again, I've set some, we're in test mode, so I've set some just custom information here. Set Florida for my state. I'll click next. Now we're on step 3 of the form. Stripe needs the routing number and bank account number, at least here in the States, again, what we use here. And then finally, this particular client had wanted to collect some additional information to help them as they would customize their messaging for the individual clients that signed up under their platform. So this client wanted to know what's your Twitter handle, if any, how many followers do you have, how many tweets do you average, Instagram, Facebook, so on and so forth. They also wanted to know about the status of their fundraising so they could develop additional tools. So kind of market research to help you develop additional products. And then you can see the rest of these questions on here. We could customize these and also make them, these are all optional, but we could customize these fields and what we collect here to a certain extent and what's displayed and not displayed on the form. Again, that'll take just a little bit of development, and then we'd make these questions and the display of those questions configurable by the administrator. Once all this is filled out, the user would click submit. Now the system goes through and does validation and then takes them to a registration completed thank you page. Again, this URL is hard coded in the code itself. It's a page alias. And then we just say, hey, your registration has been submitted. Please give us 3 days to confirm your information. Stripe is usually a lot quicker than that with validation. However, for this particular client, once Stripe came back, then this particular client would actually provision WooCommerce stores for them, and so we wanted to allow enough time for that store to be provisioned and tested and customized and whatnot before then following up manually. Now there are some notifications that are sent to the site administrator. Here's an example of one of those. This goes to admin, says we had a new registration at your store. Here is the general information for this person. their Stripe and WordPress accounts are being provisioned. So the plugin actually provisions the Stripe account, obviously communicating with the Stripe API, and it also creates a WordPress account on behalf of the user. Now we also have an option to send emails, welcome emails to the customer once their WordPress account has been provisioned. So that's controlled under Stripe Connect Auto Provision settings. You see we already have a settings panel here. If I scroll down, you'll see we have turned on the flag to send a welcome email. We send a copy to whoever needs it, in this case administrators. Here's the welcome email subject, the body of the welcome email. So we just give them some general information. We give them a link to reset their password and things like that. We can also view a list of accounts that have already been configured. So you see in this case, we've done a number of test rescue groups here over the last couple of months. We can see the status of their provisioning in WordPress, Stripe, so on and so forth, the various aspects of Stripe. There's a multi-step process here.